Okay, I'm back and with 1 Samuel chapter 3, 1 through 21. This is when God tells Samuel about the prophetic activity that was going to happen. See, okay, so Samuel gets up, he hears his name. He hears someone calling his name, and he hears it 3 times. And all 3 times he goes to in the other room with, and because he thinks it's like Eli's calling him, but it's not Eli. But every time he hear, he goes and he said, ask him, you called me, Eli said, well, no, I didn't. And the third time Eli said, answer, told him it's the Lord, to answer to him when he called, again. So Samuel did do that when God, um, the Lord called him the third time. And when he called him the third time, he told him what was going to happen with Eli and Eli's household, and he told him why. He told him because his Eli kids blasphemed him. You know, because they would go and take from the offerings, and it kind of discouraged the people that was there that was giving offerings, because they would always go and they would go and ruin everything, and they was taken from God. In their mind they were taking from the people, but they were really taken from God, because so he tells them, this is the first time Samuel have had a word with the Lord. So it said visions were not widespread, and the word of the Lord was rare in those days. So he didn't really know. So Samuel was told, what was going. Samuel was told by God what was going to happen. So Eli asked him, after he told him, he told him, what was going to happen, because the way he were, and Eli didn't have control over his children. And so God was like, he was going to punish him because you have your children, but you just basically let them do whatever, and you can't get control over them. And he kind of, I guess he was just brushing it off, like, yeah, well, I told him, I tried to get them under control, but hey, they didn't want to listen to me, so whatever. I'm just thinking that's how Eli was. Eli was kind of old, so he must have had children when he was a very old man, because he's an old man. He could barely see now. So, so Eli asked Samuel, Eli knew that God was calling Samuel. So Eli asked Samuel, like, what did God say? And because Samuel wasn't gonna tell him, at first, from my understanding, from what I read, I think that's what it's saying. But Eli knew that God was calling him, so he was like, he called you, so tell me, what did he want? And so he said, do not hide it from me. That's what Eli told Samuel. So Samuel told him everything and hid nothing from him. Then he said, it is the Lord, let him do what seems good to him. As Samuel grew up, the Lord was with him and let none of his words fall to the ground. And all of Israel from Dan to Beersheba knew that Samuel was a trustworthy prophet of the Lord. The Lord continued to appear at Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel at Shiloh by the word of the Lord. And so that's what happened with Samuel. He became a prophet, and God began talking to him. And that is the ending of chapter 3, verse 1 through 21.